Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. Today going to be having a look at another G.I. Joe Classified series figures. This is of course G.I. Joe Dailtone. This is a 2025 figure, even if it did came out nearly to the end of 2024, but was not really available because of some shipping issues. So of course this is number 149 in the G.I. Joe Classified series. Going to give a little spin on the box so you can have a look at it. So like I said, 149 in the G.I. Joe Classified series. It was currently sold out on Hasbro. It was going for $24.99, but now with the new prices, it is sold and available on Hasbro Pulse in North America for $27.99. And of course, if you're in Europe, you're going to be paying at $29.99. So let's continue. Of course, this is the standard boxes with the possibility of seeing everything that you get inside this box. Now that we have a quick look at the box, let's jump into the history of this figure. So jumping into the history, here is my mint in box Dailtone from back in the days. So this one came out in 1986, and if you know about 1986, this is one of my favorite years. So of course you can see that he did have a lot of modern equipment and a lot of shiny silver stuff who would not make it very realistic, but the figure itself looked pretty decent and had this beret, this mustache, had a cool machine gun, this kind of equipment to be able to speak in, who that they change a little bit. And of course, as you can see, this was a pretty neat figure back in the day. So let's spin it around. So you can put a pause if you want to read more about this guy. So of course you can see this was a mixed between 1986 and the 1984 figures, 85 figures I mean, and plenty of cool stuff out there. So of course it also did come out in the G.I. Joe anniversary line figures, the 25th ones, but didn't really came out as such. So there was a version of him who came out with the G.I. Joe Club in 2011, and there was also a Tiger Force version. Sadly, I was not able to locate my Dailtone, the one that I had from that period, so he's somewhere, but I managed to find my Tiger Force version. So the little radio thing got unclipped. There's a pretty decent figure. As you can see, they did a pretty good job. Really like the 25th anniversary line figures. So yeah, as you can see, they did some pretty good job on it. So now that we have talked about the history, let's have a look at the figure itself. So what do we get in the box? Of course, we do get our friend Dailtone. I'm going to make some room over here. We get his radio backpack over here. We get this little accessory that we're going to have a closer look at. Then we get a beret. Then we get, of course, a rifle with the clip who is removable. Then we get a knife, and then we get a little camera iPhone system. So yeah, the figure itself is pretty well equipped, and let's have a closer look at all of that. So we're going to start by looking at the figure itself. So of course, here is a pretty well detailed head that we have over here. It is really weird that they decided to go with a little comm mic, with a throat mic over here. This really does not make much sense, but afterwards I can understand. Then we have the little logo over here that is put on. As you can see, he does have a little watch over here. Now if we spin him over here, you have this can be removed, so this can be moved around over here. Then we have another pretty big bracelet over here. Let's have a look. We have some grenades, smoke grenades, some pouches over here. We have a little pouch over here. This is to slide in the little telephone if you want to put it in over here. So slide it in over here if you want to. Then afterwards, if we go down on his belt, we'll see that he has a little radio. This must be the radio who's connected to his mic. Over here is short mic. So yeah, it's a bit weird that they wanted to go on it, but I can understand why. Then we go down over here. We can see that we have the place for the knife. So let's put this in over here. So we have it in. Then we're going to be having a closer look at his beret, who's a pretty standard with just a silver and a little bar in it. So let's put this on over here. And as you can see, the figure does have a lot of vibe, looking like its counterpart from back in the year. Let's take a closer look at the rifle itself. You have a little hook over here, and it's a little nice, interesting hook that they did, because this is to slide in the camera over here. So you can just put it over here, and it clips in just like this, as you can see. So it's a pretty nice and neat little idea. Then we have this little mic to pick up on the conversation. So you should point it into the direction that you want to hear, and we're going to go into the backpack itself. So the backpack, of course, being 6-inch, does have a little bit more detail. So over here you have like a little webcam that you can spin around, who works over here like this. This one doesn't function. Over here they decided to insert a computer. So as you can see, you have a keyboard, you can play around with it. So it's a nice little added feature. Then you have this over here that they decided to change on the new figure, onto at least on the promo pictures. They decided to go a bit differently with it. So if you put it in, what they're trying to say, it's something that comes over his eye over here. So we could be using the webcam in the back to see what's going on, or to have it directly projected on his phone. So it does feel weird. Of course, if you know Boba Fett and the Mandalorians have also, or even the clones have this kind of system, but normally this would be a mic. And this is what I'm saying, it's a bit weird that you would have a mic, this one over here, throat one, and one over here. But as you can see, it does have a bit of a tendency of being harsh to go on it over here. So if you want to take this is also something that is a bit weird as a item to put, because if you see, you put his hand down like this, and it does seem to have a bit of a hanging down. Would be more logic if it would be straight like this, but it doesn't fit. Maybe in this hand does it fit a bit better, but it has a tendency of going towards the bottom and not to be able to hold it straight. It's because of the way the handle is put on. So yeah, it's a weird accessory. I understand why for they did it, and that's why for I guess that not big fan of that little item over here. It's an interesting idea that they wanted to go to, so hey, why not? Now let's go on to my final thoughts. Do I think this is a collectible item, and should you purchase it as an investment or not? So, my final thoughts why this guy is getting a spin, my note out of 10, and do I think this is a collectible item? So, the collectible item part would be yes and no. The reason I'm saying yes, it is because now it's going to become available. Entertainment Earth Distribution has just announced that they got them in stock last week. So that does put it as a bit maybe less when after. It was really sick after, due to the fact that it came out at the start of this year and quickly sold out and became very hard to purchase. Again, this figure will be definitely coming out and getting a retro look. So I guess if you missed out on this one and you don't want this one, it could make it as interesting. Due to the fact that it's coming back out and that the prices will be going up on it, it would be interesting to see if there's going to be any sales on the new figures who are released, or did the people just moved on and decided not to go with it. But I do think that it does have a little bit of a collectible value due to the fact that it was very hard to get. So if you can pick one up or two at a good price, why not pick it up? If you can still get it for $24.99, I would definitely pick this one up. The figure itself is not too bad. Now, going on to my final thoughts about this figure and what would be my note out of 10. Well, I'm going to start by giving you the note. So I'll be giving this figure an 8 out of 10. There's a few little parts that I think are a bit of a shame, and I'm going to be telling you about it in my final thoughts. So I do find that having this little dish is an interesting part of it, but the fact that you cannot hold it up straight and point it in a direction without having to really lift his arm and give it a weird position makes it weird. Another part that I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't go for was giving him a secondary weapon. I mean, these guys are supposed to be tier 1 operators, and as I've been saying for many years, it looks like that Hasbro is giving a lot more love to Cobra, who are getting multiple weapons and G.I. Joe are not getting. Now I can understand that you had the radio pouch over here, but you could have moved it to the other leg and put him a holster. The fact of him having a small knife is a nice add-on. So yeah, this is something that I really regret. As you can see, the 25th anniversary does have a pistol. I don't understand why not give him an extra pistol for the figure. That would have made a lot more sense. Of course, like I said, also the fact of having missing pouches for extra ammo clips is also something that's a bit of a shame on these figures, but yeah, that's my reasoning behind the fact of giving this figure an 8 out of 10. Otherwise, the figure does look fantastic and do like him a lot. So that's going to be it for my review of Dailtone number 149 in the G.I. Joe Classified series. If you like my reviews, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. Tell me if you got it, did you not get it? Let me know and let's start a conversation about this figure. Also, I'll be posting up some new pictures on Facebook, so if you want to go and check it out, the links will be in the description for Facebook and Instagram, even if I'm not using it that much. So you can have a look and see if you enjoy the pictures that I've did, and also some of the archives that I've done. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!